That's right, you read the video title right. Today we are finally going to try to put the Ducati 900cc 85 horsepower 6-speed engine on our drag rail that has a seized 670. We've been really hesitant about trying this swap because we have a pretty good idea of how it's going to pan out, but this swap has been the most requested thing for us to do for months now. It's been the top comment on like the last 3 dozen videos, so we're going to give it a shot. I'm going to do my best to be optimistic about this swap. The engine's skinny enough to fit in the frame rails of the rail, so if there's a will, there's a way. Ike, on the other hand, is being pessimistic, and he's writing a novel over there on why it's not going to work. But dude, look at the back of your hat. It's going to be fine. So we're beginning by just undoing the wiring and the fuel, and if by some miracle this seems to work out on there, we can then transfer the coils and other electronics onto the drag rail. But for now, we're stripping the engine of the electronics, and we're just going to put the engine on the chassis. There you go.
So dude, while this engine's off, we can take this opportunity to weld the bottom of the frame and plate it.
That's true. While the engine's off this chassis, we need to straighten it again. We need to reinforce it and weld it back together because at Mini Mayhem, Ike rode it around and it got bent again.
Have you ever seen the chain with the rubber O-rings?
Other than this one, no. This is really the first time we've taken this setup apart, and we're getting a good look at kind of how things are wearing now that we have a couple hours into it. And as you can imagine, it's pretty scary.
Dude, this sprocket on the axle is actually looking pretty bad. I'm used to seeing that wear. It looks like shark fins. I usually notice this on bikes with a lot of miles on them, but we don't have a lot of miles on this. I think that the horsepower and torque is actually bending the sprocket teeth. All right, dude, the skateboard wheel does not feel like it's fared too well, dude.
Yeah.
Could be my fault too. I think I might have over-tightened it getting ready for Mini Mayhem.
But when this goes back together, if it goes back together, we need something else.
I would definitely suggest a new wheel and maybe a little bit bigger. Wrenches aren't hammers, John.
What?
Nothing. Dude, I don't know if this is the right time to talk about this or not, but if we keep running this engine, we're going to have to do some timing belts on it.
Yeah, it's ready for some maintenance.
Yeah. Ow.
Boom.
So the frame, it didn't get bent from the last trip, but that bar did probably whenever I took it down the drag strip and started hitting those bumps.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't run it. I kind of eased into first gear, and you notice I was pulling ahead of people.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I came out of it. It's because when I started hitting those bumps, I was like, I'm going to mess up this frame, so I didn't continue.
It's for the best.
Yeah. All right, dude, we really have to beef up these upper links.
Definitely.
I'm going to put a silver there and a silver here. All right, so this is the charging system that we just unplugged. Next is we have the wires at the starter solenoid. The wire going to the starter, need to undo it. And then clutch hydraulics, and then I think all we have left are the
motor mounts.
Motor mounts.
Cool.
Bingo. I think that's it, bud. There it is.
That's everything.
Jeez, this thing's heavy.
It's a heavy one, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've never really shown all the electronics and wiring that has to be attached to this engine too. It's not a simple swap.
And over and nope. Go back.
Nope. Abort.
All right, we got to take that battery out. That was surprising. From a distance, it looked like it was going to just fit right on in there. Isaac says exhaust pipe is in the way.
Can we scoot back?
You ready?
Yep.
That's it. I think maybe I ought to take this exhaust pipe off. You hold it right there while I...
Yeah.
All right. 1, 2, 3. And... That engine's up there, dude. It's like... The engine's like this high on me. So straight ahead, man, all I'm looking at is carburetors and air pods. The firewall, we got to build the firewall taller.
Oh, that's right. Because stuff can blow up.
Yep. We got that firewall there to keep from metal being scattered when the engine blows up from hitting us in the face. That's why we built that. Well, now I'm looking at the top of the jug and the cylinder head on that engine. We'd have to cut the frame out of the bottom of this rail
And drop it down.
to drop the engine down. And
even then, it's going to be tight.
it's still going to be tall because we can't drop it down too far because the we don't want the case of the engine hitting concrete when we're driving down the, busted, because the oil filter's right up front too.
Yeah. Yep.
Poke a hole in the oil filter and we lose all our oil.
Plus, steering's right there too, so it really can't get dropped too far.
We can't drop it down any further because the steering.
Yeah. Dude, I'm going to be honest. I thought it was going to look awesome in here. This 670 looks better. It looks kind of goofy. It looks like a unicorn. Doesn't it?
All right, dude. We got a problem with our jack shaft.
Well,
It's not going to work.
why? Because we can just go from there right to there.
No, well, you would think that, but the aluminum case is bulged way out here, won't allow us to run a chain down there. It's got to go straight back.
Well, okay, straight back, right from there to the axle, get rid of all the jack shafts.
Do you really want a high-speed chain going between your legs to the rear end?
No, I really don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
All right, dude, but if we were able to take a chain and attach from the engine down to the first jack shaft, we could just run the regular jack shaft setup, right?
No way. The 50 horsepower that we were running on it before was bending these jack shafts and making them look like bananas. We're going to add another about 30 horsepower to it with probably more torque, and we're going to be dumping the clutch. Well, you'd be dumping the clutch because that's what you do.
Yes.
We're going to be... it's not going to be pretty.
All right, so you say the jack shafts and axle probably wouldn't hold up to 80 horsepower. What if we got like a rear end or a differential from an ATV or something?
We could look into that. They have some beefier axles. I'm not sure which ones have them, but we can look into it. But the problem is we're still going to have a chain and sprocket between our legs. And I don't want that, buddy. That's why they don't run these anymore. You really need to have a mid-passenger rear engine rail. That's what we need. And to modify this rail, we're going to have more time in that than building a whole new one. So I think we ought to build one from scratch and having the engine right there at the rear axle and just go start all over again.
Yep.
It's kind of disappointing, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, dude, like there was that glimmer of hope that everything would just kind of work, but it's not. And dude, we didn't even realize how tall that engine was.
Yeah.
Like that was an issue we didn't even think about, was the engine being too tall for our scatter shield there.
And we went through all that trouble of pulling that engine off of that car.
Yeah.
Which is fine. While the engine's off, we can
need to repair it anyway.
Repair that frame some and maybe do some prettying up some. Because I like it. That car, the Ducati, I think the Ducati needs to live.
Yeah, dude, the Ducati's a classic. And like one of my issues with putting this Ducati on the rail, we would be chopping up two perfectly good projects. I really like that's the go-kart you did 100 miles an hour on, dude.
102.
Yeah, that
102 on it.
that deserves to stay around. And this is like our really first big thing we built from scratch. All right, you got the rat rod wagon, but this, you know, we have a lot of time and energy invested in this rail, and I'm sure the same goes for a lot of viewers. I'm sure there are a lot of viewers out there who really like the Ducati the way it is, and I'm sure there are a lot of viewers who really like the rail the way it is right now.
Yes. I don't know. I wonder how many viewers want us to build another rail.
Yes.
And if we're not going to cut up this rail, and we're not going to remove this engine from that kart, that just gives us a good opportunity to go with another power plant.
Yes.
Like two-stroke.
Yes.
Possibly. And you know what two-strokes have been going through my mind?
Which ones?
Like the snowmobiles.
Oh, that would be sweet.
But we don't have any snowmobiles over here.
No.
So we're going to have to go hunting for some snowmobiles.
We're going to have to go north.
Before we shot this video today, there was a glimmer of hope for this 900 to fit in this first drag rail we built, but now that we know that it really just doesn't make sense to do, we can start planning for a new drag rail if that's what you guys want to see. Of course, I had a lot of fun building this one. I would totally do another one, but there's just a mountain of planning that's involved in building another one of these things. It's very time consuming. It's a lot of money. We're probably going to use chromoly tubing, which we need to learn how to TIG weld. Neither of us know how to TIG weld. We need to choose an engine, axle, wheels, tires. There's just a lot of planning that goes into it, so it's going to be a little while until we start another drag rail build. So until we start a new drag rail project, there's a lot we can do to this one still. We can repair the 670 engine. We can go back to the drag strip and hopefully lay down a bunch of solid passes to try to get it in the 8s. We can repair the chassis on the Ducati, put the engine back on, and do maintenance to this engine and get that going again. And we have a lot more great projects in the works coming up. This, like we keep saying, unfortunately isn't going to work, but there could be another one coming in the future. There's no need to rush it. It's a long process, and safety, believe it or not, the more we do this, the more and more important safety becomes for us.
So thank you for watching this video, guys, and really thank you for being so invested in our projects. We do appreciate your comments, and we basically made this video, well, one, to prove that it wouldn't work, just because we have gotten so many comments, and we wanted to address that to show you guys that we are paying attention, and the amount of hacking that's going to have to go into this, it's just not worth it for us. And like we said, safety is important too.
Yeah. Plus, there's going to be a lot of people disappointed that we hacked up the rail.
True.
I'm including
me too.
Including me.
Yeah.
So I'd rather start from scratch.
Yeah, me too. But we have a lot of awesome projects coming up in the new year. I hope you guys have a safe and happy holidays. And thank you for hanging around and watching all of our content, whether you subscribed today or yesterday or you've been subscribed since 2015. Means a lot to us. Please like this video to see more awesome content from us and subscribe as well. And if you want to help support us in what we do, pick up some of our hoodies, stickers, or t-shirts at CarsandCameras.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. All right, man, how did your list stack up to what we found here?
Well, too much power for the jackshafts. I'm going to say that's a check. Axle can't handle power. That's a check. Have to modify frame. Check, check, check. Right there, buddy.
Yeah, a lot of modifications.
Leave a comment and let us know if you wanted to see it modified or not.
Like heavily modified.
Oh, would y'all have been fine with the Ducati being gone forever? Because, you know, of course we'd rob the engine, and then what would the point of having that frame? What's the point?
Yeah, sad face.
So, yeah. I'm going to say unhappy. Can the frame handle 80 horsepower?
Maybe.
I think it could, except I'm a little worried about the clutch dumps.
Yes.
That's my main concern right there. So I'm going to just put a question mark right there. I don't want to. Check, 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 check. Why eliminate 2 awesome projects for just 1 project?
Yep, totally.
Man, I think that's a check for me. I mean, all right, John, deep down, did you want to
No, definitely not. No, you got
modify.
Check.
Okay, check right there. I thought so. And if we want to make it faster, we really need to make it safer.
Yep, that should be number 1, honestly.
We're going to need a harness.
Yep. Parachute. ejection seat.
Ejection seat, that
Yeah.
would be awesome. So yeah, you know, you got up to like 67 miles per hour on that, right?
Yeah, before we did more mods. But yeah.
And that was in like just after the 8th mile.
Yep.
We never saw the top speed of this thing. We never tried it.
No, yeah.
But 67 miles per hour is going pretty fast. Of course, we've been faster than that on other go-karts.
Right.
But yeah, man, when putting a motorcycle engine on there and stuff, you know, we're probably looking at 80 mile per hour plus. You know, we really need some better safety equipment. So check right there. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. You know, why? Why would you want to cut it up? Why would you want to modify it? Let's start new.